name is Pankaj Upadhyay and I am presenting this paper on contextualizing sustainable product service system design methods for distributed economies of India. My co-authors are Sharmishta Banerjee and Dr. Ravi Mukashipunika. We are from the Department of Design at Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, and we are also part of the Lens in Lab there. Our paper presents strategic analysis tools that help a designer in developing sustainable product service systems for socio-economic ecosystems. There are two research questions that we want to answer. The first one is, to what extent is the methodology of system design for sustainability applicable for design of SPSS in an SEE context? The second one is, what could be a design approach for SPSS in the context of SEE? Specifically, we have developed tools for identifying actors and their activities in an ecosystem. We have developed tools for understanding the infrastructure and the needs of the actors, clarifying the goals and the problem statements, and finally for competitor analysis. Just to clarify on a few terminologies, methodology for system design for sustainability is a modular framework that is proposed as an aid to designing, engineering, and communicating sustainability oriented system concepts. And this particular methodology has stages, processes, and sub-process. More can be found about the methodology in the book System Design for Sustainability, Theory, Methods, and Tools for a Sustainable Satisfaction System by Wizard. MSDS can be used by project proposers, companies, public institutions, NGOs, research centers, or a mix of these. It is flexible in the sense that the designer can choose appropriate stages, appropriate tools that work for his context and design an appropriate intervention. Second terminology that we want to define is the socio-economic ecosystem. We've defined it as a context where the economic activity of the community, of the stakeholders, is deeply ingrained in the socio-cultural ways of living. This is a multi-stakeholder ecosystem, and the economic activities are distributed in nature. They are distributed in terms of design, manufacturing, and knowledge generation. Such an ecosystem may have a very long history, due to which it has developed some sustainable practices. There are two examples that we want to give you. The first one is Swalkuchi. Swalkuchi is a small village in the northeastern part of India in the state of Assam, and it is famous for silk. Three types of silk specifically: Tussar, Mulberry, and more famous one is the Muga silk. The village of Swalkuchi has organized itself in such a way that all the members in the village somehow or the other contribute to production, development, knowledge generation, design, and other activities of silk weaving. As you can see in the picture, this is a silk weaver using a jacquard loom, the kind of products that are produced there, and the third is how silkworms are reared. Second example is a place called Bordua. Bordua is the birthplace of a saint called Srimanta Sankardev, who introduced Vaishnavism in the northeastern part of India, specifically in Assam, and he was a great dramatist and author and is a revered personality in Assam. In Bordua there is a lake which is very famous and a local tourist spot, and incidentally no one pollutes the lake, and such sustainable practices are seen all over the place. Primarily it is a local tourist place where everybody pitches in as stakeholders to support the tourists that come here during some specific times in a year. We've used the methodology of design science research. It is a design oriented research approach that follows an iterative process until a balance is obtained between the intended outcome and practical realization. You can read more about the methodology in the paper by Peffers. Specifically for the paper, 3 separate exercises were conducted where we applied the MSDS methodology and updated it based on the learnings in each instance. The exercises were conducted with students enrolled in the System Design for Sustainability course, which ran during the January-April semester in 2015, 2017 and 2018. For answering the first research question, we used two design exercises which were conducted in Bordua and Swalkuchi. We used field visits wherever necessary, and based on the outcomes of these two exercises, we modified the strategic analysis part of the MSDS and subsequently developed tools. Also, to answer the second research question, modified methodology and tools were implemented in the third exercise, which was conducted at Swalkuchi as part of the Lensin workshop, whose photograph you can see. Going in more details about the use of MSDS in an SAE context, there are a few key learnings and challenges that we found. The first one is about the origin of the design opportunity. We found out that the design opportunity for an SAE context may originate either internally within the stakeholders or externally from other actors. Due to this, there may be a difficulty in establishing ownership. Incidentally, it is difficult to identify a single project promoter. Moreover, due to this, the people who originate the idea may not consider its implication on other stakeholders of the context. The second issue that we found was it was becoming very difficult to conduct a project promoter analysis as prescribed in the MSDS methodology. Promoter analysis is the process of understanding the motivations of the person who is initiating the design project. The third issue that we identified was the lack of explicitly considering infrastructure capabilities. In SEE context, the designer must acknowledge the capabilities of existing infrastructure and suggest any necessary transformation, or take into account any future transformations that are planned to the infrastructure. Without this, the design solution which is proposed may not be sustainable. The fourth type of problem that we saw are the nature of competitions. Unlike in typical scenarios where a product competes with another product, a service competes with another service, or a combination of such, in an SEE context, the nature of competitors may be very different. For example, in Swalkuchi's case, the competitor to a Muga silk fabric is goat, because it is mostly used in marriage times, and the budget gets divided between buying Muga silk fabric, which is very expensive, or buying gold. Issue that we saw was the difficulty in defining the scope of a design intervention. Since the originators do not inherently consider a product service system based scenario narrow or a very broad scope of intervention, in which case it becomes very difficult for the designer to figure out a correct scope for which a sustainable PSS can be designed. Considering this, we proposed a few changes to the MSDS specifically when it is applied to the socio-economic ecosystems. We propose changes in the first two processes. The changes are mentioned in the third column of this table. The first change is about the promoter analysis. We've designed a tool called the Awesome Actors tool, which helps to uncover the various stakeholders and actors within the SE. The second tool is the KFPS knowledge mining tool, which enables us to understand the infrastructure and any transformation of the infrastructure in the SEE context. The third tool is the project actor analysis, which helps us to identify the needs of the actors. The fourth and the final tool is the competitor analysis tool, which helps us identify as well as acknowledge the various types of competitors that may exist for the particular SE. Let's take a look at each of these tools very briefly. The first tool, called the Awesome Actors tool, helps us in the preparatory questionnaire for socioeconomic ecosystems, and it results in the identification of outcome. The way this tool is supposed to be executed is with an interview with local visionaries. Along with that, it could answer a question about what is the main value proposition of the ecosystem, what are the problems and the actors in the local ecosystem. This is what the tool looks like. we have different types of actors listed, and we could name the actors, the contribution they make, the values they add to the ecosystem, their motivations, problems that they solve, and so on and so forth. The second is the KFPS mining tool, which is for infrastructure analysis in the SEE context. The result of this tool is an identification of existing infrastructure as well as the transformation required for the infrastructure. Again, this tool is supposed to be executed in a participatory manner along with local visionaries in the SEE. This is what the tool looks like. So there are 4 types of infrastructures that have been found during these 3 exercises that were conducted. First one is the knowledge infrastructure. Second one is the financial infrastructure. Third is the physical and the social infrastructure. The 2 data points that are required to conduct this effectively are what is the existing conditions of this infrastructure and what is the transformation required. We have given 2 examples here to illustrate how to use the tool. The third tool is the value opportunity analysis, and this results in the need analysis of the actors, and it is conducted by the designers. It is something that is co-creatively developed along with other actors in the system. This is what the tool looks like, and on the leftmost column you will see the different types of needs of actors that are there. There is a subcategory of actors, and then the way to use this tool is for each of the actors identified using the Awesome Actors tools, the designer lists down the kind of need that each actor has, and finally based on this identify what are the needs to be fulfilled by an intervention. Finally, this is the competitor analysis tool, and it results in identifying the competition space. This is what the tool looks like, and on the left hand side you have the main value propositions of the SE, along with, as you go on, the columns are the different forms of competitors that are there. We have given an example of Muga silk in terms of form of the SE itself. Another cluster could be a competitor in terms of category. Another type of silk could be a competitor to this silk. In terms of generic competition, there are other forms of garments, materials that may be competitor to the silk. And finally, in terms of budget, there could be another type of a competitor. The second row in this one is defining our design intervention and what could be the competitors of that. So as future scope of this research, we have currently designed some tools which have used data from 3 exercises that were conducted in Assam, in the northeastern part of India. For them to be generalized, further studies have to be conducted where they need to be tested. We found out that applying the tools in a classroom context has some challenges. Other paper by the same authors can be referred to understand these challenges. Furthermore, we found out that MSDS process as a whole, as well as the strategic analysis of socio-economic ecosystems, is a very resource intensive task. We figured that a different type of data visualization methods may be helpful to alleviate some of the problems and issues that we have encountered. With that, we would like to thank our partners and our co-researchers and people who have helped us in this research. Specifically, we would like to thank the people of Swalkuchi and Bordua who helped us during the research. We would like to acknowledge that this research was done with the support of the Lensin project and the Erasmus Plus program. Thank you.